Public services is defined. A public service is a service which is provided by government to people living within its jurisdiction, either directly, which is through the public sector, or by financing private provision of services. So public service can be done in two ways. First, through the public sector. This is done by administration, by different agencies, directly done by the different agencies of the government, such as the Public Works, the Department of the Social Work and Development, and other agencies. While by financing private provision of services, this is done through contracting or giving the project, the service through a contract to a private sector, to a qualified contractor. Okay, now the functions of the public service. Regarding this function of public service, this is according to the source I found in the internet. Number one, it articulates and implements government policies, programs, and projects, and implements them. So, the term articulates first. Before the implementation of any policies, programs, and projects of the government, first, we need to articulate, we need to explain. The people or the public have to understand first what are we going to do, what is going to happen to them, and how these policies, programs, and projects are going to affect them. Because we are working with public service, so we need to tell them, and they need to know the effect of this project to them. Number two, it daily administers the government and sees to the determination and realization of state goals. So in the number two function, it daily administers the government. So it supervises in a way that see to it that the movement or the activities are directly to the goal of the state or the government. Number three, it provides various services to the citizens to meet their needs, which include immigration services, customs and exercise services, registration of births, deaths, and marriages. So public service it provides various services to citizens to meet their needs. This is self-explanatory. And number four, it regulates and controls the economy for fast economic development. So it regulates and controls the economy for fast economic development. So regulation through policies. And number five, it creates employment. Of course, it creates employment to empower the people, and also, since we are in a democratic type of government, once you employ people, the people will have income, and that income will also be another income for the government, so that it will continue to move. Another term for that income is the so-called tax, which is the backbone of the government. Number six, it generates revenue for the state. It generates income for the state. Public service not only serves the public, but it should also generates income. For example, you provide parking area in the public market. So you construct a parking area. That parking area is constructed to avoid the congestion on the road, so that the flow of traffic, the flow will be continuous. And if the people use that parking area, not only it will regulate the flow of the traffic, but also they can extract, they can collect some small fees from the public. Yung parang sa sa Lamitan, kung nagpa-parking sila doon, syempre mabayad 5 peso each. So in that is part of serving the public, at the same time getting income from the public. Number 7, it provides social amenities for the people. So social amenities like children's playground, like hospitals, social amenities para magamit ng public. Number 8, it maintains relationships with other countries in the world. So public service also functions through policies, through creation of policies. Parang ina-update nila yung policy kasi we are in a dynamic world. Everything is going to change, so we are updating everything to come up para hindi tayo maiwanan ng ibang countries, and so that we will be in harmony with other countries to maintain the good ties or relationship. And that's for the function of the public service. And let us go to the examples. I have researched some 23 examples of public services. We have the energy, the military, the law enforcement, the education, telecommunications, public transportation, urban planning, the waste management, emergency services, water supply, environmental protection, consumer protection, immigration and customs, transportation infrastructure, postal services, recreational facilities, sanitation services, natural resources management, public broadcasting, economic development services, agricultural programs, healthcare and public health, and public buildings. Energy is one of the most important services that government agencies provide. It ensures that citizens have the ability to heat, cool, and light their homes, power their appliances, and complete tasks more efficiently. The most common energy service that governments provide, like for us here in Basilan, is the Baselco. And the source is, our source for now is from, diesel power generator, which is located in Lamitan and Isabela City. And one of the common problem now here in Basilan is the frequent blackout, because I think the population of Basilan keeps on increasing, and the power ever since has never increased. So nagkakaroon ng shortage sa supply. When the demand increased, the supply did not improve with the increase of the demand, so that's why there is shortage of power in our place, like Basinan. Military forces are one of the oldest known public services and are part of almost every national government in the world. So military, these are the uniformed personnel, the police, the PNP, the AFP. They are organized professional fighting forces whose primary goal is to protect citizens from foreign and domestic armed threats. So they are the guardians of our borders. The law enforcement. Law enforcement is a common public service that many governments provide at the local and national levels. The primary goals of law enforcement are to protect citizens from criminal activity, prevent future crimes, conduct criminal investigations, and penalize criminal offenders. So law enforcement, this is another form of execution of the law, which is the executive function. Before you can execute anything, but first we need the legislations, we need the policies formulated by the legislative bodies. The fourth one is the education. Many countries throughout the world offer education to their citizens as a public service. The goal of public education is to provide schooling to children of all backgrounds free of charge. In the Philippines, we started this free of charge, the free tuition in universities during the Duterte administration, as far as I know. In order to do this, governments fund schools using taxpayer money. Although systems are different throughout the world, most public schools serve children in primary and secondary school from the ages of 4 to 18. While many countries have national education agencies, local authorities manage most public education. The fifth is the telecommunications. Telecommunications refers to all the systems of communication to transmit signals. These technologies are a vital part of the modern world and include telephone. As of now, as far as I know, telecommunication is with the private sector. There's no public sector handling telecommunication, not like the education, the Department of Education. Public transportation. Many states, counties, and municipalities offer their citizens publicly funded transportation options. This may include buses, rail lines, or subway systems. So public transportation, like we have here in Basilan, public transportation is controlled by the government through licensing. That one. For example, in Lamitan, they are now starting to control the tricycles. Any tricycle that is not color orange are not allowed to operate in Lamitan starting September 1st. So this is part of public transportation. And urban planning in the 7th. Urban planning is the process of developing and revitalizing urban areas. It, of, it often includes elements such as land and water use, environmental and social impact planning, construction and infrastructure development. Local governments are most often responsible for urban planning and commonly work to expand housing, plan developments, revitalize decaying areas, introduce green technologies, and increase community access to essential services. Urban planning. So another term for urban planning, it's like you are forecasting the locations of where to put the residential area, where you put the commercial area, where you put the different factories, so that it will not affect the health of the public, so that the health of the public will not be in danger. The eighth, waste management. Waste management is the process of tracking, organizing, and removing waste from its inception to its disposal. This is the main problem now here in the municipalities of Bacina and the waste management. This process helps ensure that communities remain safe and sanitary, and that professionals discard and destroy all types of waste and garbage properly. The four primary categories of waste include industrial waste, municipal solid waste, hazardous waste, and agricultural waste. Waste management can help reduce the effect of these items and materials on the natural environment and ensure that certain materials become recycled or reused, such as glass cans and paper. Number 9, emergency services. Emergency services are organizations that help ensure public health and safety by handling a variety of high-risk or emergency situations. The three fundamental emergency services include a fire, police, and ambulance, all of which contain highly trained professionals who are prepared to address different emergency circumstances. So example of emergency services is giving emergency number to the public, so that if anything happen, if they need help anytime, they can call that number so that they can be responded. There will be a help. May makatulong sa kanila kapag may problema. Number 10 is the water supply. Water supply is the allocation of water by various organizations, including public utilities, community programs, and commercial enterprises. Public water supply systems are an integral aspect of maintaining a clean and hygienic community and ensuring that all members have access to the water they require. So water supply, as of now, most municipalities, water supply is categorized into 3 levels. We have the level 1, which is the very common source in Sabukid, in some municipalities, far-flung areas, they use deep well. So kumukuha lang sila ng tubig directly sa deep well at dadalhin sa bahay. That is the level 1. While the level 2 is meron ng faucet pero hindi pa diretso sa bahay. Like sa municipalities, may mga projects yung public works na gumagawa ng water tank na may deep well na rin, and from that deep well there is a water electrical or solar powered pump that pumps the water into the water tank, so that people, para hindi na sila para mas mapadali yung pagkuha ng tubig, instead na mag-igib ng tubig na gamit yung traditional na tabo or something, by faucet na lang, mas mabilis yung pagkuha, lesser effort. Whereas sa level 3, which is wala pa masyado sa municipalities, meron pa lang sa Isabela and Lamitan. This is the level where the water goes directly into the homes. May faucet na sa bahay diretso. Pero sa mga municipalities, hanggang level 2 pa lang ang meron. Number 11, environmental protection. Environmental protection is the execution of methods and strategies to care for the natural environment and prevent severe or long-lasting harm. So, the short explanation for environmental protection is you protect the environment, you protect the human being. Number 12, consumer protection. Consumer protection is the process of implementing laws and policies to safeguard consumers and the general public from unfair practices when purchasing goods and services. You know, there is the policy, customer is always right. Although hindi naman sa lahat ng oras. Pero that is one way to protect the consumer. Like the no return, no exchange policy, which is masyadong rampant sa ibang locations. So, once na nakabili ka ng expire, kapag meron silang no return, no exchange policy, if there is no consumer protection, then kawawa ang consumer. Number 13, immigration and customs. Immigration and customs is a public service provided by national and state governments to handle trade, customs, immigration, and passport control. It typically involves enforcing federal laws related to these processes and ensures that individuals adhere to guidelines regarding travel and citizenship. Sure, immigration and customs may be responsible for monitoring travel from other countries and are ensuring that illegal or controlled substances don't cross national borders. So customs are mainly focused on the imports, in the product imports, and para maiwasan yung pagpasok ng mga contraband. Contraband are illegal products. They are illegal because they are not taxed. Kapag walang tax, it means walang income na mapupunta sa ating bansa, which is very important para sa ekonomiya. 14, transportation infrastructure. Transportation infrastructure is a public service responsible and may include features such as roads, train stations, railways, canals, and trucking terminals. So, transportation infrastructure, ito yung ginagawa ng DPWH, the Department of Public Works and Highways. Postal services. Number 15, postal services. Postal services are systems that communities use to physically send and transport parcels, postcards, and documents. A postal service may be publicly or privately owned, and some may be independent agencies that act as executive branches of the federal government. Most postal services dito sa atin, like the LBC, the JNT, kung saan dumarating yung mga Shopee natin na parcels, these are part of postal services. Recreational facilities. Recreational facilities include resources that members of a community can access for exercise, relaxation, and socialization, including spas, swimming pools, exercise arenas, playgrounds, and steam baths. So yeah, recreational facilities. These are facilities where the public can relax, like the park, the Freedom Park, the children's playground, yeah, which is wala pa masyado sa mga probinsya, yung mga park. Meron lang existing doon na natural park, pero hindi siya recreational kasi hindi pa siya na-develop masyado. Number 17, sanitation services. Sanitation services are programs and procedures that ensure professionals handle the waste and excreta from facilities properly to maintain a safe and hygienic environment. So this is somewhat related sa environmental protection and waste management. Number 18, natural resources management. Natural resource management is the sustainable use and supervision of natural resources within the environment, including water, soil, land, plants, and animals. So part of the natural resource is examples of natural resources are the like quarrying for the river sand na ginagamit sa construction, and mining, which should be regulated also. Public broadcasting. Public broadcasting is a media service that includes television, radio, and other outlets whose primary goal is delivering free and accessible content to its audience. These resources may receive funding from government agencies and private donors, including companies and individuals. Number 20, the economic development services. Economic development services offer support and information to investors, businesses, and developers within a city, state, or region to ensure that they have the resources they require and understand the relevant laws and guidelines. Economic development can include a wide variety of projects such as enhancing infrastructure, improving parks and public spaces, and increasing public safety. These initiatives can attract new businesses and jobs and may improve a community and its economy. So economic development system, it's development were to increase the income para tumaas ang ekonomiya ng bansa. These are income generating facilities. Number 21, agricultural programs. So this is the main, as of now, this is the main focus of our president, this agricultural programs. Agricultural programs, also called farm programs, are public service resources that help determine and implement policies to regulate federal farm programs. They can help agricultural producers handle a variety of tasks, including recovering from natural disasters, conserving natural resources, and identifying potential market risks. Pero as I observe in our community, sa mga municipalities, we have yung lupain natin is malawak and fertile. We have fertile soil in Basilan. Pero ang kakulangan natin is how to encourage the farmers para magtrabaho or magtanim kasi karamihan sa atin ay tamad. Number 22, healthcare and public health. Healthcare services and public health include the improvement and maintenance of individuals' health through diagnosis, treatments, and preventive measures. These resources may be provided by government agencies. Government agencies like the Department of Health. In the BARM, we have the Ministry of Health. Or private institutions. Private institutions, sometimes like the UNHCR, the UNICEF. They are non-government organizations that are also helping the health sector sometimes. Some example of the government effort para matulungan yung public is may mga medicines na ginagawang free like the TB treatment, ngayon libre na. And meron din mga medical missions sa mga far-flung communities na ginagawa. And that's for the healthcare. Number 23, the public buildings. So public buildings, from the term public, these are the government-funded buildings. Public buildings include various types of infrastructure that all members of a community may visit or receive, including schools, libraries, courts, information centers, and public housing. So right now, the government construct evacuation centers, school buildings, gymnasiums. These are all buildings constructed to serve the public. And my report ends here. I hope you learned something. Wassalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much.